All right, looks like Yuri's about ready to go, just taking a bit of a stretch, and timer is now reset. Again, the winner of this one is going to be going to face Alpha in round two of the winners bracket. The other runner will be knocked down into the lower bracket. Let's see if I can quickly spot where that is going to be. Looks like they're going to be facing Fabix in the lower bracket.
That's not an easy one either.
No.
It'll be interesting.
I mean, is there an easy one?
You know what? I mean, there's so many talented runners in this community, and also joining the tournament. I mean, we nearly filled out a 32-person one completely. 30 people participating in this particular one, so it's great to see the new faces as well as all of the old returning ones too. And there's certainly some faces missed, obviously, but we're having fun regardless, and it's been really great just to have everyone back together again after, it's been a couple of years since we've been able to organize something like this. And again, big shout out to Mr. Dino and DG Speedruns for helping to host this. It's been a blast as always to work with them, and they always put on a quality production. So
for sure, and of course Dino is downplaying his own abilities.
Cursed dress from Space Narc! How dare you!
Oh no!
How dare you! Not using the lanterns. Look at this man. Who is he? I don't know him anymore.
All right, shard game. What do we get for shards? That is the question.
Hopefully more than the one that was last time. I mean, we made for really fast Autumn Hills. No one was weighed down by the extra weight of too many time shards.
Looks like Narc got 0. Yari got 2 for sure.
Yeah, Narc's been, I think, like me, he's been cursed on very bad shard luck in Ninja Village. So,
well, the problem is that he didn't go for the lanterns.
Yeah, it might be the game punishing him for using those cursed Narga strats. Who knows? But I guess we'll see how it plays out. I mean, maybe advantage Space Narc. He doesn't have that additional weight.
Yeah, moving a little more aerodynamic ninja.
Exactly.
All right, Ninja Village burnt to a crisp, and we are off to the Tower of Time once again, carrying the Scroll of Destiny, I suppose. I don't remember what it was called in game. And yeah, runners are synced. Everything is good to go. And
hardest enemy in the game coming up. We'll see what they have to do.
Right.
Both of them slapping them in the back, giving them a little like, hey, encouragement. You've done a good job, and moving on.
Yeah. As a hey, good job.
Good job.
Protect the Autumn Hills.
Right.
Yeah, you do it.
We believe in you, Kappa. You'll make it to Ninja Village someday.
Someday. Not today, but someday.
Not today, but someday.
Just a little bit of cleaner movement from Narc here in the early going. Nothing too major. Nice drop down from both runners, both hitting the 41 shard mark, entering the
first shot. Dip to the right hand side, which is a little bit of a time loss and unfortunate, but RNG being what it is. So.
Yep, and at least they both had to do it, right? So
yep. We're fair and we're even right now. In the initial start.
In the initial RNG seeding. Again, they did not reset their games, so speaking of RNG, we will have to examine very closely how the spike boost ends up going off of the platform, coming up in short order. And Narcs would get there first, and gets knocked left, but gets onto the platform immediately. And Yeri gets knocked to the right, and just like that, we are back to even on the first instance of RNG in Autumn Hills.
Yeah, Narc's going to get a little bit of extra shards for that, but is, like you say, it's made this race very even again. So, it's just how this game works. You take your chances in whatever happens in a race format and have a swing. And I'd like to see it remain this close this time. So let's see how their swimming goes. And again, I know Narc is a big fan of at least damage boosting through the saw blade. So we'll see if it sets up. But it's interesting because I think what he does is a PB strat is where he hugs the blue cap up top and tries to go over the tower that way. But in races, he opts to go. Oh, he's really close to that saw blade. Holy cow.
Just making sure the ninja has a haircut. That's all.
Yep. And both actually taking the same route here. So we're actually going to be even on this front.
Alright, up for Space Narc off the tower. Yeri does take a bit of damage. Shouldn't really be a big problem in Autumn Hills, but racers being what they are, could still end up having an impact. You want more Messenger content, by the way? Our next match is scheduled for Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. That'll be 11 Eastern. Fruity Waffles versus Jangle Storm, and then Monday we're going to have a slate of matches as well. Cooney's going to be going up against Roll Jutsu at 13:30 Eastern, and at hour and a half after that, it's going to be Grandius and Flash.
Some really, really good races coming up there. I'll be commentating on the Jangle Storm one on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to those other races that you just mentioned because they're going to be really, really good.
All right, so you can see the movement kind of making the difference here in the early going. About half a room separation or so.
Yeah, Narc getting that stump jump obviously does help a little bit, so it is just little minor things that are adding up over time, but both of them still having a really, really solid Autumn Hills. There's been like no real danger point here at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I do mean Yangle, yes, Snoopy.
Looks like Yuri shard count maybe just a little bit on the low side.
Yeah, it's a little tight, but should still have more than enough. There's a big arc of them here. 130 is all you need at the shop, so more than enough. Narc can go and buy a Maserati at this point. I mean, he's got money for days. Yeah.
All right, so will we get Scary Berry or will we not? I don't think we will for either of these runners, but could be surprised.
As far as I know, I don't think either one of these are Scary Berry enjoyers, so we'll probably see standard, very standard Leaf Golem fights here.
Yeah, just walking up to him, doing the slashes, throwing in the shuriken, standing right in the face. I had to duck there right at the end as the projectile was coming back, but he's all right. Yuri's starting to fight now as well, staying down on the ground, throwing the shurikens. And it does get a buzz cut from the leafy projectile. Could be heading now.
Yes, so good. The leaves are way further away from what you see of most of the runners getting. So.
Forlorn Temple, the hardest stage in the game. The jump program, as dictated by some of the members of Ninja Village, very hard to do. But the Space Narc is through it cleanly. It gets the drop down smoothly into the catacombs, and we will begin. Cycle combs, for what it's worth. A lot of these crusher cycles pretty important in terms of making sure that you keep up to your opponents or extend your lead if you are a Space Narc. So clean movement, definitely the name of the game in this stage, as it is throughout the entire run, of course. But ooh, gets a little bit of sticky ninja up there on the crusher, but he's fine, drops down. And we'll get the first of the Ruxton cutscenes. A little bit of movement hiccups there from Yuri. Will he get through the crusher? Yes, he is fine. As he enters the cutscene now as well. On the left side of your screen, Narc is going to be dropping down butt boost or no butt boost. If he's got the setup based on the no reset, right?
Yep. Yeah, and smartly opts out too. It's unless you know a different setup for that. If you don't reset your game, you're likely to not get butt boost. So. Wise to just go ahead and take it normal. I think it was kind of a first threat. Yuri, though, did go for it. And again, unfortunately, taking the wrong bounce and opts to not challenge the crusher there. Probably smart. This is a very dangerous stage because this is really where first deaths tend to occur more often than not. So there's just a lot of pitfalls, a lot of spikes, a lot of crushers, and one misstep, and it obviously can cost you. So
I feel called out right now, Nori. I feel called out right now. Taking deaths in catacombs?
Deaths in catacombs, though, it's never happened. No, it happens to me all the time in practice. So believe me, it's a thing that can occur, and I've yet to have a deathless run in the tournament. Period. Even the previous ones.
You know what? I believe in you. It's coming up for you, sir.
Soon. Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. No TD Crusher from either runner, by the way. Just going to go for the natural movement in through there. Not getting the right side climb into the health potion there, as expected from Space Narc, will be caught up in somewhat short order by Yer. Looks like about a 20-second time difference. We'll see whether or not Badonkadonk claims a victim. And it looks like Narc is through.
Again, so yeah, both races, Narc nailing out Donkadonk without any trouble there. Really clean catacombs coming out of Narc tonight here. We'll see if Yuri can at least mitigate that time. Ooh, careful with the spikes. Like, yeah, you want to take spike damage, but you don't want to do it that early.
No, and in the room just prior to that, he actually ended up dropping down to the spikes. Had iframes from damage that he had taken just a second before. But a scary moment when you see the iframes flashing and you're not sure if you're going to get out in time, but did manage to make it through, so he's doing okay. This is the room I'm talking about on Yuri's side right now. Does have full HP for the initial spike boost, and is through Balls of Steel room, entered by Narc at 924, get you a more exact delta off the basis of that. In short order, as we're going to be coming up on Ruxton. We did see disparity in the Ruxtons in the last run. Narc got the low, and it's about a 13-second difference between the runners, by the way. Narc got a low, and Yeri got a high, and that 13-second difference, as alluded to, can be made up for quite significantly. If Narc once again gets a low and Yeri gets a high, we could end up seeing this come back to close to even, and it is low. Narc gets double low.
That's unfortunate RNG, but he knows how to handle it. Move up to really close pressure skip on Yuri's side. That just enough space to be able to make it work out. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I'd have been taking statistics this whole tournament to see like how many lows we've had versus highs. Well played, Mark, though. Still managed it well. Got the upper platform kill without too much hassle there. I mean, we get enough low Ruxtons, kind of have that unlocked just as well as you get the high there. And a high for Yuri. So, hey, again, he's playing favorites tonight. Ruxton is favoring Yuri heavily and giving that high one. It looks like we're going to get another low kill, though, on that end. Only a couple of extra hits. But still really close race. Again, anything can happen at this point as Art goes into the vacation level, Bamboo Creek, and the infamous BC11 coming up.
Yeah, Narc's been playing, in my estimation here, pretty consistently overall. Has had a couple moments where it looks like he's, had to fight back some nerves, but has been able to lock it down pretty quickly here. Yeri, to his credit, pretty much the same, other than some of the tower times shenanigans, which can happen to any runner in game number 1. But the rest of the stages for him have looked very clean as well. So it's looking a little bit like he's going to need a couple mistakes from Narc, which don't seem all that likely, but he fails that wraparound jump off the bird again, actually. So just shutting me up with the words coming out of my mouth.
Curse.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the kind of thing that Yeri needs from Narc, is just, a couple little hiccups in there, here and there. Nothing major either. He's been keeping this really close. Has had a couple moments of RNG in his favor with the Autumn Hill spike boosts and, of course, Ruxton, but, even if you take those out, he's probably within about 20-25 seconds of Narc, so he's definitely putting the pressure on and playing very well.
Indeed, especially with BC11 going on right now. We'll see exactly what happens here now. You're talking about Narc and his consistency. Narc is a huge fan of racing, and he prefers to race more than actually just do runs. And it's funny that if he actually does win this and ends up against Alpha, that was his old racing buddy back in the day. So when we were all running this game 3 years ago, him and Alpha were very equal. In times, obviously now, times have changed and Alpha's moved on and gotten a lot stronger times than Narc, who's moved on to other projects. But, it'll be a return to kind of old hat for those two racing against each other if Narc actually does pull out the win here, and again gets N2, no problem here. Looks like we're taking an elevator again on Yuri's side. So unfortunately, not getting the N2 skip here for both. That's going to add a little bit of extra time between the two racers at this point. But again, I believe in Yuri. Yuri is a veteran and definitely will make their time up as able.
What's really impressed me about Yuri's play is his decision-making on that kind of thing, right? Where if he misses a trick, he does not waste any time. He doesn't let it get in his head. He just goes for the backup, and it's immediate. There's no hesitation on it. He doesn't second-guess the decision at all. He just goes for the backup and then continues playing, and it's a sign of a very strong racing mindset from Yuri, and you like to see it. Space Narc, in the meantime, has entered Howling Grotto, has the wingsuit attack, the boost, and the pogo. Does get the extra boost off the pogo, this time off the skeleton. Did not get that in the first match, and so you'd like to see that he's got that cleaned up here. Does the wingsuit into the Godweave room, does not quite go for it, just tapping a little bit on the wingsuit there at the end. Playing it a little bit safe. Does have 1 HP of damage to his name, so definitely don't blame him for that, as we are now in Grotto as well on Yeriko's side.
for sure. Spike damage in general just makes you, instantly take a sharp breath. At least it does for me, because it hurts. It's 3 points of damage, and you've only got 5 at this point, so it starts to get a little bit scary here. We're going to go into DK room from Narc's side to see if he goes here. He's definitely going for the setup based on what I'm seeing here initially. See what the bounce on the saw will do for him. That looks good. And yeah, you could fit 2 ninjas to that gap. No problem. Easy, easy, easy. DK skip from Narc's side. Basically playing on the clinic there as he damages boost. Damage boosts through the Kappa to just, save a little bit of time there instead of taking the pushback. So we navigate very, very well so far. We'll keep an eye on what happens with Yuri here. Yuri's coming up, getting close to the DK room. See what they will do on that side.
Yeah, dropping down to 1 HP there after the damage boost itself. A little bit scary, but did get the pogo off of the Kappa and up into the health drop, so he was okay. Gets through the Yeet room at 1454. DK skip room entered approximately at the same time by Yuri. Did not get this in race number 1. Movement looks a little bit cleaner this time. This was going to be close. He goes for it and does squeeze through, getting a little bit of a back scratcher there, but he does get the DK skip. And you'll like to see it from Yuri's side, pulling out the aggression, going for the big boy strats, and is making sure that he keeps this as tight as possible against his opponent, who has been playing very, very well indeed.
Yeah, and Emerald Golem can actually swing that. Any bad thing that happens with Emerald Golem can cost a lot of time. Ooh, Narc fumbling a little bit in the Wizrobe room there. Took a little bit of damage, more of a time loss, and maybe a little hit to the pride rather than, anything major there. But gets through it, and hopefully he still remembers how to count to 7. And maybe this time the wall won't deserve a shuriken as well. But see how this goes as we keep an eye on it here. And as long as you manage this first part, it shouldn't be too terrible. If you have to go to a round 3, that gets a little questionable on your HP. So as long as he does counting right, no chances on the shuriken that time. He decided to throw it a little bit earlier just to make sure, and he definitely wanted to make sure he was going the right way there.
Yeah, the wall wasn't hungry this time either.
Wall wasn't hungry, yep. Good damage there. Damage is boost on his way out, so he'll go into the second phase here. Looks like very solidly. Probably no shoulder pads here. And 2 HP. Oh, a little bit of shoulder pads. Surprised, I thought he got more damage than that when I saw it. Keep an eye on the second phase, because it can go awry sometimes, and if the orb gets away, that could be trouble. But Narc's like, nope, not today. Good middle range kill, good speed on it too.
Yeah, that's he got left side both times and handled it both very well. Even got that one a little bit lower than he did in game number 1. Yuri, in the meantime, I'm going to be starting the Emerald Golem fight right side of your screen on full HP. Gets the damage boost through. Remembers how to count to 7, which is 1, 2, 4, 7, I believe. Does throw 2 shurikens in there because he knew that he counted to 6 instead. So again, more heads up from Yeriko, getting the damage in on the first cycle, and now wants to move in on the second cycle. Playing it patient, I kind of like that as well. Knew that he was at risk of taking damage, which he does, and so he didn't go for the damage boost through the glove of the Emerald Golem, and it ends up paying off that decision-making from Yuri. He's in the middle on the Golem now. Does get enough damage, again, just a little bit on the shoulder pads. And we'll see whether or not the floaty pattern ends up being beneficial to Yuri as well. Does not opt to go for the face tank strats. Does take 1 hit, has to play it a little bit more careful now. He's going to lose a little bit of time here. Floating up. Yep, alright, there he gets the kill, plays it safe, and it doesn't take a death, which is the most important thing probably. Going to be about 1 minute and 15 seconds behind Narc at this point. And that just goes to show you, runners were about 20-ish seconds heading into Grotto. And now Narc's gained about 1 minute off the basis of the movement in Grotto. So consistency is definitely paying off for Narc here in the first half of this run.
Yeah, but I really respect Yeriko's decision there on the damage management in the first phase. Going into that second phase with a little bit of cushion probably saved a bigger catastrophe in the overall scheme, by doing that. And even though that orb got away and things got a little scary there, it probably was still the exact right call to make there. And rather than taking the death in the second phase, which is way more detrimental, it'll keep him within shouting distance of Narc, and Narc could still make one critical error and suddenly we're back to a very close match.
Yeah, and all it takes is one, like, especially in Tower of Time, you take a death there, like, this minute and change lead evaporates, like, immediately. Or the unforeseen death in Quillshroom, too, right? Because you're skipping checkpoints here, you are sent back a long way if you end up making a catastrophic mistake here, so...
Indeed.
Definitely a lot of opportunity here for Yeriko to get back into this one.
Narc, unfortunately, the shurikens got away from him on that one. Had to, instead of using the grass cutter strat, actually he had to go and smack that switch, and didn't obviously have it for the end of the room either. Not sure what happened. I was kind of watching fight. Oh no, Yuri taking a death in Quillshroom. Speaking of, in the right room as well. That's unfortunate. That's going to set them back quite a ways. That spike ball swing is quite the enemy. And if you're maybe a little off on movement, that ball is not where you expect it to be. And that thing does 3 points of damage. And it looks like Yuri unfortunately did catch that.
Yeah, he ended up taking a couple erroneous hits off of just some of the enemies going through, and like you say, he was down to 3 HP. Played it aggressive as he has been doing so far in this race. Which you like to see, you know, he knows he's got his work cut out for him, so he's playing hard. Unfortunately, it just kind of got away from him a little bit there.
Speaking of letting get away, Narc unfortunately missing the opener with Queen of Quills, got a little bit of seed action going on there. And now has her in the corner where he wants her, but that will definitely add a little bit of time, and I believe we're probably going to see some whips here, especially with that damage. So unfortunate for Narc, this fight isn't going to go exactly the way you would want to. This could give Yuri at least a little bit of help in recovering some time here, as long as that Queen of Quills fight goes smooth for them.
That's a 20-41 shuriken kill from Narc, so I'll get you a more exact delta as Yeriko finishes off his fight not too far away from the Queen of Quills. At this point, a couple more rooms. Gets the shuriken strat off of the Kappa kill into the switch activation as Narc is entering. Craig's on the left side, going to be picking up his rope dart and doing the famed rope dart everything tech. If you are within range of something to rope dart it, you should rope dart it, is basically the idea.
The important part is being in range.
Right?
I die a lot to not being in range when trying to rope dart everything, and I rope dart nothing, and then that's happened. So,
well, you know what? I'm here to provide you with the gamer pro tips. So,
I appreciate that. I will make a note of that for my future endeavors.
All right. So we got the weights into the lantern onto the right side climb. No damage taken from Narc. Does not quite get the ledge grab that he was looking for, unfortunately, though, and is into the rings room now and up the wall as Yeriko is going to be approaching the Queen of Quills fight in probably about 20 or so, I think.
Yeah, he's only 2 rooms away.
Ooh, a little bit of spaghetti here from Narc off of that one, what is it, the ananas spike boost that he was trying to do there?
Yeah, it looked like it. Just didn't quite get the way he wanted to. Did the backup, though, just fine. Unfortunately, again, just minor things are going to start to add up here. It's a little bit of time loss, and as more and more of those occur, it opens a little bit more opportunity for Yuri. Everything goes smooth on their end. See how the Queen of Quills fight goes.
Yeah, the Queen fight's going very well for him so far.
Just missed the knockback, though. A little off on the timing of the shuriken there. We'll get some whips for that, unfortunate. Just you have a very small window to knock off that ring where you actually get the stun damage, and just missed it. Did have a shuriken to at least get the right side kill, so saves at least the time of running. Well, to get the additional cutscene here, because of the death that did occur before this fight. So adds a little bit more injury to that particular one, but overall still very well done.
Still within striking distance, roughly 2 minutes behind, a little shy of that. As he is entering Craig's now. Space Narc is going to be starting the call since Zeus's fight. Third, probably major point of RNG. As far as bosses go, between the runners, it looked like Narc had a little bit worse RNG than Yuri in the last race, but things setting up okay here to start. Does get the fast switch, however.
Fast tag up, for sure. You get a boulder, so not too punished in regards. You did miss some early damage there at the beginning of the fight when you get up there. It's a really tight window as well and can definitely happen, but right now getting a pattern slow like that could help. I think missed some DPS there at the end too by accidentally going through. our green friend there. And yeah, that's at least getting a boulder again. So no team attacks yet. Hopefully we can avoid that.
Looking fairly solid. Yep, that 23:57 on the kill there for that.
Decent pattern for Narc to save that. That could have gone a lot worse than it did.
Yeah, definitely could have. Yuri's Craig's in the meantime has been overall looking pretty good. Has just had a couple ledges get away from him, but otherwise has been playing really solid. Accidental rope dart for the extra spike kill. Maybe he wanted to just get some revenge for something that happened in a previous run, going after that spike. But he is up through the room cleaner than what Narc did on that one, who ended up taking the right side of that room. He's now entering, speaking of, the peak.
Double please in chat, everyone, for play show.
Yeah. This is the vertical of all vertical stages, essentially, in the 8-bit run. You do get some of it in Craig's, but basically as the game progresses, you kind of go from like more horizontal stages to more vertical stages, and so your Craig's is sort of your introduction to, you know, extended vertical climbing, and then Peaks is like, oh, so you know how to climb? Okay, here's a big climb for you.
Well handled on that particular one. I love that room. That's one of my favorite rooms to navigate in Craig, or in Glacial. Is just straight up, and you just don't stop. It feels so good to do that. And I love the movement at this particular point of the game, and I think the music kind of helps spur that too. Like, it's a very upbeat music. And shout out to Rainbow Dragon Eyes, who composed the soundtrack for this game. Just everything fits so well, and you know, you're going fast with this rope dart. You've got things that you can go on and just non-stop. And it's really funny because this actual stage, you wouldn't know it by watching any of these runners. There's ice physics going on in this stage, but you just won't know it.
Well, you don't touch the ice. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, if you're on it, you're already running, and it doesn't really impact you. As long as you don't need to make any sudden turns, you're good. So
yeah,
you know, it's great to have an ice stage, which every platformer speedrunner hates in general, and just go, yeah, I don't care about your ice physics. I'm completely ignoring it. We're gonna go.
Yeah, from a game design perspective, honestly, really interesting that Sabotage did that, where they gave you effectively the option to completely ignore the ice physics. And I love that about the sort of mindset of Sabotage generally, as well as the hilarious writing of this video game.
Oh, for sure.
Collis and Seuss beginning on the right side for Yeriko. Looks like he's almost... I didn't quite see a smoke there, whether or not he got Greeny Boy down.
He did. Yeah, definitely did, for sure. We're going to get
people's elbow,
unfortunately. Yep. Gonna try to play it safe. We are a little low on HP. This is actually... Ooh, that was scary. Oh, yeah, this probably can go wrong, and a people's elbow is the last thing you want to see when you're at low HP. Fortunately, weathers the storm, gets through it, and we have a 26-48 kill on the twins, or the twins.
Separation there is about 250. Give or take 1 second. So, Space Narc definitely in control of the race at this point. Yeriko needs Tower of Time to go absolutely sideways for Narc. Narc can take a couple deaths here, and it can happen. But yeah, Narc would have to take a couple deaths. He does go for Hail Mary, as we saw in the first race, which immediately is scary as all get out. So you're going to see it in just a moment after this crystal transition heading up into the Hail Mary room. If he is watching and decides to play it safe, we will find out. Nope, that's, yep. Nope, yep, nope. Holds off on the very end of it. He knew that had a bit of a hiccup on one of the rope darts, and so he waits it out instead of trying to play aggressive and take the death, which heads up play from him, but will lose a little bit of time as a result of going for that trick. In the meantime, Yeriko is 4 HP, did decide to play those spikes carefully, did take it down from the fireball by the looks, but otherwise is through that just fine. Having a little bit of trouble getting the jump slash off that green cap, but does execute it about 3rd try, and into the lantern and up off to the bounce pad in the next room has a mysterious stranger looking to stab him with a scythe, as he's going to be running away. And 1 health in the whiz robes here, avoids the projectile, does face and is through, but not out of the woods yet. It does get the checkpoint, of course, but down to 3 HP in Tower of Time, you are effectively at instant death range pretty much the entire way. Which is spooky.
Narc, the whiz robes were definitely trying to do their part, and the one thing that we don't like about them is that they tend to like to get right in your way. you want to go somewhere, and they just go, you know what, I'm going to go there before you. And on 1 HP, as Narc was, that could spell disaster. Fortunately, was had enough space to squeeze in there. Was well managed by Narc in that scary scenario, because that could have set him back quite a ways. But we will not be getting any laser skips or French connections again today here for Narc. No extra HP drops from the eyeballs at all. So we'll take it nice and slow, take a nice little tour here, and then rope dart climb up into our laser platform room and get ready to get the refill. We'll see what happens with the big laser swing. He's going to, again, go with the... probably won't be going for Dos Ojos, but maybe the standard particular one where it's going to get really scary at the end there. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if he gets to teleport. Does indeed. Well done there, and it's going to continue up to the final last little stretch. Ooh, unfortunately didn't get high enough on that platform. Had to reset the room, start it over again.
I do like to see from Yeriko, though, like, missed the teleport game 1, went for it again here, and got it. So pulling out the strats that he knows how to pull out. Still going for him, still trying to keep this race interesting. Damage boost in the meantime, left side of the screen from Yeriko. Again, down to 1 HP into a Wizrobe room is through, however. And as you mentioned, just a matter of seeing whether or not he's going to be going for some spooky laser boost strats. Of course, this crystal transition room with the crystal abuse at the very end can just be like, from a mindset perspective, spooky. Execution perspective, probably not too much.
Mark is safe with that rope dart one. It's a little bit more guaranteed, a lot less scary than the standard crystal abuse there. But time waster room not living up to its name for Narc today. Narc is not having that. We'll be going on their final climb up here, Narc, to finish their run. Again, probably we'll just take the platform. Yep, takes it nice and safe. We'll be going into Arcane Golem as we're going to keep an eye on Yeriko and their beginning of Tower of Time as well. Ooh, that's a little slow on the lasers. Oof.
Is through though.
Did make it through without any damage.
Did not see even an attempt at Hail Mary from Yeriko in the last race, so don't anticipate going for it there. Does grab the checkpoint anyway, just in case, and yeah, he's going to wait for a little bit more of a standard play as the Arcane Golem fight is underway for Narc on the left side of your screen, looking to close this one out and face off against his old racing buddy Alpha in the second round of the winner's bracket. Is taking a fairly significant amount of damage here, actually. Loses 3 HP, not quite getting the iframes up top with that rope dart, kind of skimming the top of the Arcane Golem's head, but does close it out with a 31-24, which is, I think, like 7 seconds off of what his last race time was. So consistency showing up once again for Space Narc, and closing that out with a mid-31.
Yeah, the race veteran definitely showing there. Yuri did opt in the Hail Mary room to kind of take a modified, kind of smaller version of it, just damage boosting through the projectiles, and got through very cleanly on that particular regard. But again, GG's in chat for Space Narc, who takes this series 2-0. We're going to keep an eye. Ooh, a Levy special, unfortunately, got a little hung up on one of the kicks there and didn't quite get out of the way of the laser in time.
Just getting that laser pedicure. Still wants to go for it.
Oh, I don't blame him. I definitely would want to as well. Like, you know what? This trick is easy. This trick is free. Let's go.
All right, decides to opt out of it, but looks like he wants to close out the run and show us what it is that he is capable of, which you'd like to see. Wouldn't blame it at all for this point, you know, if you wanted to just kind of bow out. But you do also enjoy seeing a runner that just commits to finishing out the run either way through the Cooney room fairly safely. Doesn't go for the aggressive cycle on that, which is okay. That is difficult to get, but Han's on up there. And the drop down into the blocks, and will be pushing his way through very slowly. Again, 3 HP here, not going to see any of the fancy laser boost strats as a result of that, no health drops. And it's not over, just in case you're wondering, it is not over for Yeri. He is going to be dropping down into the lower bracket, and he's going to be facing off against Fabix 5-3-1 in the opening round of the lower bracket.
Good company to be down there. I'm in there too already. I actually need to get my match scheduled.
Well, according to Dino, you have a free one coming up against him.
That's what he says, but you know what? I mean, he booted me out of the last 8-bit tournament we had. So I'm not going to take him lightly. You know, he may try to butter me up and say that it's a free one, but I know in the background there's practice going on. I am not going to let him do it to me twice, unless, well, I mean, if I just completely choke, that's on me.
Make it interesting.
It'll be fun. I think
Yeah.
whoever does the commentary for that, if they're listening, they know that that's a grudge match.
I like that it's a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of laughed when I noticed that in the brackets that it was going to turn into that situation. I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
The speedrun tournament gods are at it once again. Very nice.
What Yeriko goes for. Good job with that. Good damage boost. Got
projectile!
the 1 HP.
Projectile right on his butt.
Oh! That is such a scary room when you do that strat. That's my preferred strat for the room as well. And you get into the wizard room and you're just like, oh, please don't snipe me. Please don't snipe me. And it can happen.
It can happen. Time waster room, not wasting time. Sets up on the wall. It takes a little extra half second to make sure he gets that. And through on the checkpoint, laser climb, and arcane golem left for Yeriko. And we'll see how he performs. Stream didn't drop this time, which is good.
Yeah, I think naming it Drop Strum was the right play.
Yeah.
Internet behaved, or OBS, whatever we want to claim is kind of the culprit there.
Goes for the wingsuit float on the platform.
A little bit of swag to close it out. I approve. I 100% approve of this.
You like to see it from Miri. Throwing out the memes just for us. Good stuff. Arcane
Game
Golem
works most of the time, right? Yeah, it works most of the time. It's so fun to see what you can do to this poor game. But
one of my favorite things back when the game first came out was GT finding out that if you did some stuff in a shop and then pressed 6, you got invincibility.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. A little artifact of a debug thing that was happening. So,
oh, wow, that's funny.
I love it. Half of a drop down for Yeri, but managed to get a fortunate hand boost right back up into the Arcane Golem's face, down to 1 HP, but closes it out with a 36-02. GG to both runners.
Yeah, GG's in chat for Yeriko as well, and well done on them. Again, it was still anybody's race as far as I'm concerned, especially on the books. You could see, even though they had a couple of minutes apart in regards to their PBs, again, messenger being the messenger and anything can happen. Both of them showing exactly what this game can do and what they are capable of doing with this game, and you like to see it regardless. So we're going to wish good luck to Yeriko as they drop down to the second chance brackets, and of course continue good luck to Narc as he goes up against, as you say, his old racing pal, Sort of Alpha. It'll be quite the homecoming for them.